Welcome to Visionaries in Progress on the Road. I really like saying that. I don't know why. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Lusterling. I am a multi-dimensional artist, multidisciplinary, if you will. I do a lot of different things. And I'm a visionary. And I created this podcast to speak directly to other visionaries who might be feeling isolated in their life. Today, let's talk about AI. But not the AI that you're thinking of. I want to talk about moving from artificial ideas to authentic inspiration, and what is the difference between the two. We are completely oversaturated with noise in the world. Just noise, clutter, trash. There's good things too, but just everywhere you look around, there are ads. There's an inflow of information and media and news and stories, and it's just everything is so much and so loud all the time. And if you're someone like me who has to, for lack of better words, show up online, share your work, you're going to see it too. Like, even if you prefer to be offline, like me, I prefer to be off social media. But you still have to go on there to do things, to, share your work or whatever. You're going to see stuff. You're going to hear music. Whatever you're doing in the world, you're going to see everything, right? When we are taking in this much information, it is completely normal and natural to see things and then have ideas or feel a sense of inspiration from what we're taking in. That's natural. It's gonna happen, right? There's no way around it. I mean, you might be out living your life and you see a poster that makes you think, I wonder if I da-da-da-da. Like, it's going to happen. But imagine how much it's going to happen. Or I would even say the amount that it happens will be close to the amount that you're intaking. So if you're intaking a lot of media, if you're intaking a lot of information, what it's going to spark inside of you will be, what's the word? Like, coherent. That's not the word. I'm losing words today. That's fine. What's the word I'm looking for? Proportionate to what you're taking in. If you're consuming a lot of media, it's going to happen a lot, right? Now, when you are a creative or you are an entrepreneur, you are someone who is putting work out into the world in any direction, or there's something that you are to create or build, there's a vision that you have to steward, chances are something in that is inherent to you alone. Not that it's never been done, but there is something original, organic, and authentic inside that thing that you're called to do. It's like a little seed that's planted inside of you that's yours to nurture and grow and make happen, right? But what can happen along the way is, because there's so much intake and there's so much outside noise and information, good or bad, I'm saying this neutrally, just input, right? It can be really easy to get distracted by ideas that you have in response to what you're taking in that then influence the thing that you are here to do. And the less you pay attention to that, and the less that you pay attention to that pattern, the more it's going to impact your work, and the more it's going to impact what you're doing. What happens is it becomes muddy. It makes what you're doing unclear, or not as clear as it could be. right? So there's a difference then when you have an idea or an inspiration or an insight that is not triggered by an external influence. Let's say you're just like living your life. You're mowing, you're washing the dishes, you're cleaning or something, you're driving, and you have a spark, something internal that is like, oh, aha. It's not to say that that wasn't in some way created by that input, you know, but the process is different and the impact is different. I've noticed that the more I tune into those experiences, like the insight that I have when I'm not looking for it, like I'm not looking for ideas, I'm not looking at Pinterest, I'm not looking at social media, I'm not looking at what everyone else is doing to try and come up with ideas to orient to what I need to do, even if it's in the same spaces. Like, it doesn't help me if I were to go look up what other indie artists are doing and like copy that, or like to get ideas from what they're doing, because those ideas will be based on what those people did. And there will be people all along the path that tell you to do that, to tell you to go find other creatives or other business owners or other people doing something similar to what you want to do, and get ideas from that. And I'm gonna say, be careful, because I believe when you're a visionary and you're given something to do that is you, that is something new, it would be a disservice if we're only deriving our ideas from external input and not letting them arise naturally from who we are, from the life that we live. I think that's what makes it authentic to us. I think that's what makes it specific to us, is there's a reason why something is coming through you. And it's going to have the signature that you give it with the life that you're living. So if you're constantly taking in everyone else's stuff, and that's muddying the water, and it's muddying the pool, I guess, from where your ideas come from, then whatever you create in that space is going to be muddy too. What we can do instead is identify the types of noise and the types of input that we're letting in, and examine one by one, like, what does this do in me? What does this do in me? It's not all good and it's not all bad, right? It's not all bad. It's not all bad to have inspiration. Like, I can't imagine doing like a month of no music or something, right? Like, I'm going to listen to music, and there will be times when I'm listening to something and thinking like, oh, I love that sound, or like, oh, I could try this. Like, it's normal to have intake and then to be inspired by it, right? It's just completely normal and natural. It's just the amount, though. If I'm taking in music, media, news, reading, whatever, inside of those categories are different voices too, right? So like, if I'm taking in all the events going on in the world, I'm also taking in the information as told by those people. How does that impact me? How does it impact me to know what's going on in the world? How does it impact me to tune into this version of the news for this person's relay of the news over that? How does it impact me to be inundated by the same event over and over and over and over and over? What is that causing in me? What does that do? That's what I mean when I say, if you start to examine all of the different categories of input that you're allowing, and then within those categories, what are all of the voices, and then noticing how each individual voice impacts you, you'll start to notice a pattern between the voice that's coming in and what it sparks in you. And not only what it sparks in you, you'll start to notice how it impacts what you're creating and what you're doing. So is it helpful to you? Is it serving you? Or is it not? Because I think it would be a lot, or it would be very difficult to cut out everything completely. We don't live silent lives. If you want to go to a silent retreat, that's amazing. I've heard all kinds of things about people who do that and like take a vow of silence for a time period and don't let any influence in, right? But a lot of us don't have those kind of opportunities, right? We're going to work, we're on the road, we have kids, we have to stay in the know, we have to be involved in our community, we have to see what's happening. We can't just turn it off. So if you can't turn it off, can you filter the noise for yourself in a way that's beneficial to not only you, but also beneficial to what you are doing, what you're creating, and what you are then seeding in the world? I used to think that I didn't like listening to podcasts. I used to think that I didn't like listening to people talk because I would listen to different podcasts or things that people would share with me or on topics that I thought were interesting. And it's like I can't listen to that. It's like noise. It's like it just, I can't listen to it, right? Even if the information is helpful to me, there's like something about it that registered as this isn't great. I can't listen to this, right? But then I found some podcasts along the way that when I tune into those people and I listen to what they have to say, I notice benefits to what I'm doing. It's not always related to what they're talking about. Sometimes it's just how they talk. Sometimes it's how they treat people. Sometimes it's how they interact with the guests. Sometimes it's just like how they express themselves. And I notice that it's not really impacting my work directly or changing the way I show up, but it might make me feel more confident. It might make me feel more motivated. It might make me feel less alone, right? And those things are helpful to the work that I'm doing. Like, it is helpful for me to be intaking things that make me feel confident and excited even to like continue doing what I'm doing. It doesn't help me to listen to people that make me feel gross or bad about myself or like what I'm doing, because well, one, I'm not doing anything wrong, but two, it's just an example of how that can work. Filtering out those things that aren't really serving what you're creating and only tuning into the things that do. This works with the people that are in your life. It works with the media that you take in. It works with even like how you let things that you have to be around influence you. Like, if I know that there's something that I have to do, right? I have to go somewhere and I have to be around a certain group of people because I have to. But I know that those people don't represent anything that aligns with my values, and I know that we are on different paths living different things. Doesn't mean I can't be around them if that's what I have to do, but it can be a filter for how I process and take in what they're saying to me and how much I interact with them when I get there. You know what I'm saying? So the more you like filter those things out and you just completely cut the noise around you that's really not helpful for what you're doing or who you are, that opens up a layer of space in your everything, in your awareness, headspace, in your life, in your day. You're not processing as much, you're not having to filter as much because you've already tuned a lot of things out. And what happens in that space is more of what is you and more of what is ready for you to express opens up. It opens up like pockets of air, basically, for those internal inspirations to come through, for those ideas that are truly meant for you to happen. And whenever you have those experiences, whenever you do have those insights that come from within, and you have more space to interact with those, you can tangibly feel a difference in your body of what it's like to pursue an idea or a vision or something that was intrinsic something that was internally inspired, or something that was sparked from your own life, you can feel the difference between that and ideas that were generated based on external input. And the results are crazy different. They're crazy different. I know that for me, whenever I was trying to do things based on what other people were saying was correct, whether that was how to market myself, how to promote my work, types of venues I needed to perform at, like all these things, right? Whenever I was taking in external output and then generating ideas of like, how can I do what I'm doing in a way that's like similar to what these people are doing, and I went that route, it didn't create a life that was me. It did not create a life that was authentic to who I am and what I'm doing. It did not match up with the vision that I hold of what I'm doing with my life and who I am. It just didn't. Whenever I stripped everything away and just tuned into, okay, so then what is my vision? And how do I see myself operating? And I allowed my ideas and my influence to come from the vision itself. Everything started to change. It also added a layer to the filter. Like, if I know that like my music, I'm using music as an example. I don't expect you to be a musician. This is just a tangible way that this has expressed in my life. My music is pop and electro, and it's loud, and it's a vibe. It's a whole vibe, right? If I'm only performing in coffee shops because that's what people told me to do, and that's what I see other singer-songwriters doing, and I only see it expressed one way, and I'm sharing that work that way, the way other people are doing it, do you think I aligned with the fans that would love my full-blown, full-blast music and expression? Or do you think I aligned with people who like the coffee shop singer-songwriter vibe? It's just, yeah, it didn't work. I know that works for some people, but for me, it was like a flat out no. And I didn't feel the difference until I tried both ways, right? Whenever I started noticing like, this is not producing, this isn't getting me where I, 1, want to go, 2, see myself going, 3, it does not line up with the vision that I have. And then I started tuning into instead, so what is the vision? And I'm like, I'm seeing like concerts, and I'm seeing like lights, like intense sound. I'm seeing like stage lights and like just this, right? And I started tuning into that and being like, okay, how can I express myself that way? And then I started having ideas based on my actual vision and not based on what other people were doing. Something really interesting happened. Whenever I started putting out that kind of content, and that, like, I make music videos based on the vision that I had of like, what is the vibe for me and my music. I started doing my photography that way, not because it's what other people were doing, not because that's what I was taking in, but just like that matches the vision I have, right? Something changed. People started inviting me to perform. Inviting me. Not me applying to gigs, but people seeking me out. And they started getting like increasingly bigger over the course of a year or 2. It wasn't all at once. It was like a steady trickle. I would do this one and it would match the vision. Like the first time I headlined at an event, at like a show, it's like, it's the same colors, it's the same light, it's the same vibe, it's the same kind of stage. It's what I saw in the vision. I've been making music for years, right? So I know that example isn't gonna land for everyone, and I know that's probably not what you're doing. But all of that to say, we have to filter through all of the noise in our reality everything that's being shoved down our throats and that we're just naturally around, we're just out and about living our lives and doing what we have to do, right? Filter it. Tune into, what is my vision that I have? What ideas can I derive from that? What does that spark in me? What does that inspire in me? And how can I create that, even if it's not what everyone else around me is doing? I think there's a time and place to take a peek and see, take like a test, like a litmus test to see what's going on in your field or in your industry and kind of like check in. I don't think it should drive the bus of what you decide to do with what you're creating. Because at the end of the day, there's a good chance that you are being called to do something unique. And so if you're only tuning into and you're only listening to voices outside of you that are not who you are, you're not doing what you came here to do. What you'll be putting out won't be aligned with what's true for you. So that's my challenge to you today. I want you to think about what's going on in your life. What are all of the different voices of input in your world? All the different categories. The music that you listen to. The media that you consume. The people that you talk to. The things that you have to be around. And within those categories, I want you to notice what happens inside of you as you tune into those individually. So if it helps, use your imagination. Just imagine only listening to this one, not my podcast, but let's say you listen to this one podcast that you love, right? Or this one artist that you love. You listen to all their music. What would happen if you only listened to that for a while? What does it do to you? What does it make you feel? Is what that's making you feel helpful to what you're creating? What you're called to do? Right? So do that for every individual source of input in your life. And weed out the ones that you're like, you know what, this isn't supportive, this isn't encouraging, this is not it's not helpful to what I'm doing. Is it sparking ideas in a direction that you're like, that's not what I want to do? And then, sorry, I saw something and it distracted me. Yeah, so do that. Make a commitment. Give it 30 days. Be like, I'm not going to tune into those voices. Let them clear out for 30 days. And only take in the information and the input that's truly beneficial for you. And then in that space, notice how your ideas change. Notice how your inspiration changes. Notice what it feels like to contemplate or consider the new ideas that come into that space. And judge them against the vision that you hold. So whatever it is, the vision, whether it's a project that you're working on, a business that you're working on, just a vision that you have for yourself and who you are, whatever that vision is, I want you to, I don't like the word judge, but examine, how do these new ideas line up with this vision? See if they're closer. See if they feel like they have the same signature. When they do, those are the ones you want to pursue, even if you can't immediately. And that's how we shift from having artificial ideas to authentic inspiration. If you try this, reach out and let me know how it goes. I'd like to hear from you. All right, good luck with what you're doing, and we'll see you next time.